Hi friends, welcome back to Recovery with Alexi. I'm Alexi and I use any pronouns. And it has been a week for sure. I'm gonna jump right into my check-in and talk some about what I've been going through lately. So as usual, we start with two positives. My two positives are I went to Costco for the first time with my girlfriend today. I've been to like Sam's Club before because my family, when I was growing up, was a big Sam's Club family. But I never actually been to a Costco specifically, so that was pretty fun. Did not get the hot dog, but we're thinking about that for next time. Did get a nice 79-cent soda though, so that was pretty good. And we picked up some fun things along the way. And yeah, so it was a good time. Lots of laughing. I don't know why. We were just in such a good mood today. Second positive was I just took a really nice bath, and I really like baths. I think I mentioned when we were talking about the improved skill, I really like baths for just kind of calming me down. I'm somebody who really likes water and being in the water, so that's always good for my mood and relaxing and nice and warm. And yeah, so that's my other positive for today. Cravings and urges. We have been having cravings and urges, my friends. They have not stopped. they go away and then they come back, Sunday I was actually having a really tough day, mental health wise. Just absolutely bad day. Just felt emotionally garbage. And I'm pretty sure it was because I didn't sleep Friday night. So I was kind of, for lack of a better term, I felt hungover, kind of, but not in a physical way, just in like an emotional kind of a way. And that night I was really, really close to using. I didn't. We are still on the mark, but I came really, really close to using. And that was pretty scary. But instead, I took a bath. I went to bed early, and I was able to prevent myself from using. So we are still all good there. And the next day was much better, and the day after that. So we are gonna keep rolling, All right. And that leads into what I want to talk about today, which is more about positive affirmations because I feel like they are so important. So last week we talked about basically why to use positive affirmations, why they're good for your mental health. This week I want to talk about how to do positive affirmations because we know it can be hard to come up with something that actually feels real for you. So this is a Psychology Today article that I have put into the Firefox reader mode so I can have it nice on the screen for us. And of course I'll link it down below. So this person is saying they used to think positive affirmations were silly new age concept, which is kind of what I thought before I got into them in therapy and we talked about them. So it makes sense to me if that's kind of how y'all are feeling about them too. They do tend to have a lot of presence in the new age movement, and if you're familiar with things like that, they can kind of seem a little woo-woo, Not that there's necessarily anything bad with woo-woo, but not for everybody, and we accept that. So, I'm going to try and skip down to where they actually start talking about how to make good positive affirmations. And you can read this whole thing, like I say, it'll be linked down below. You can go read the whole article if you want to. So I think right here is about where it starts. Where I see most people having difficulty with positive affirmations is when they are trying to make a positive self-statement about something that they really don't believe is true. So this is what can happen a lot of times when you're getting a positive affirmation from somebody that's just like, here's a list of positive affirmations you should use. And it's like, well, none of these resonate with me. Okay. The problem is you don't believe them. And that's not a problem with you. That's a problem with the affirmation. It's not for you right now. As they say down there, it feels like you're lying to yourself and can activate a lot of resistant thinking, which can actually make things worse. Another downside to saying a statement to yourself that you really don't believe in would be the likelihood of activating evidence in your mind for why your new affirmation isn't true. And they give the example, of course I'm not brave. I always faint when I think of giving a presentation. The last time that happened during a meeting at work, I practically wanted to die. So you're going to have this self-talk that's going to kind of argue with an affirmation that you don't actually feel is correct, and that's going to leave you worse off in the long run. The more effective approach is to create an affirmation that feels like an improvement from where you are, but is still within the realm of what you believe to be true. If you're working on trying to get over a fear of public speaking, then thoughts such as, I am building my confidence and with practice I will get better, would be less of a leap than I am a great speaker, and they will elicit fewer self-sabotaging resistant thoughts. I like to think of it as you might want to focus on what you're doing in the moment or what you can do in the moment. So, for example, this one's great. I am building my confidence, right? That's what you're actively doing in the moment. That's where your affirmation is going. I am building my confidence. That's an active step you can be taking in order to get yourself to where you want to be. There was another one in a video I watched the other day where the gentleman was saying, instead of I love myself, which doesn't feel true, I choose to give love to myself, feels more true because that is a choice that you can be making. And if you think of it in terms of having the choice to do things, or in terms of I am building my confidence, or in terms of this is what I'm doing to achieve my desired results, that can be a lot more helpful and useful than just saying, oh, the desired results are true, when in your head you're like, well, they're not, that's why I'm having this problem. Finding a thought that doesn't require taking too big of a leap can be more difficult than it seems. Our brains naturally want to go straight to the finish line, which is why if you're feeling really insecure and you're trying to come up with a positive affirmation to improve how you feel, then you're going to want to reach for I am confident. So that's okay, but look at your new affirmation and ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not at all, how much do I believe my new affirmation is true? If you are at 6 or less, I would suggest trying to scale back a bit and instead create an affirmation that is an improvement from where you are, but still on the way to where you want to be. Such as, I am working on improving my self-confidence day by day. And again, this is in the phrasing of something you are actively doing, right? You can choose, you are working, you are building your confidence, things like that. Some phrases that may help you to choose an improved thought without leaping too far include, I am capable of, I can learn to, I am working on, I can start, I can be aware, and I am trying. These are great ones. Love all of these. Then, to really internalize your affirmation as something you believe to be true, try writing down some evidence for why it is already true. I am working on improving my self-confidence day by day, and here is what I am doing. I am reading books on self-confidence. I am working on not listening to my inner critic. I am working with a therapist. I am practicing taking more risks. And they give some more examples. As you begin to work with the improved thought as your affirmation and collect the evidence that it is true in your life already, this can be a great meditation technique, by the way. You don't have to write this down. You can, if writing things down works for you, but this can also be something you do exclusively in your head as a meditation technique. Go over your affirmation and then just start listing, okay, here's why this is true. This reason and that reason and this other reason. And just see how many you can list, you know? As you start to have a firm belief, 7 or higher, that your affirmation is true, then keep reaching for improved thoughts and collecting the evidence, and you will incrementally be able to move from I hate myself to sometimes I'm not so bad to I love myself. Except this time you will be able to own it completely and authentically, be those amazing self-statements. So I think this is a great article. I think there are a lot of great tips in here, and yeah, I hope we can take something away from that. And then, of course, because it's a Psychology Today article, they have some nice references about self-affirmations, and these will be in the article, obviously, that I'll link, and you can go and take a look at those later if you like. So I know this was a little bit of a shorter one today, but yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. we are staying positive, but we are kind of going through it a little bit. So we're just going to have a little short one today and be back next week with some more. If there's any things you're specifically struggling with, any skills that maybe you've heard about but don't really know, anything that I can look up and help you guys with and share, let me know down below. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you this week. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.